Hi, my name's Adele Parks and I'm here to talk to you about my new book, Men I've Loved Before, which is out on the 8th of July. Men I've Loved Before is my 10th book, and I've got to say that's a dream come true for me to have been in the lucky position of writing 10 books in 10 years. All my books are about real people. I don't mean by that I go and attack people on the street and demand to know their personal stories. What I mean is I write about believable characters and believable situations, the kind of situations we've all found ourselves in. The issues that I come back to over and over again are the issue of fidelity, of communication, of family planning in its broader sense, by which I mean agreeing on how many children you want and being lucky enough to have those children at the right times. So issues of fertility and infertility are also discussed in some of my books. In Men I've Loved Before, the story is about a couple that are extremely happy together. They've been married for 5 years. They live in Chiswick in London. They live a relatively modest life, a very normal life, one that we can perhaps all relate to. They have no children, and that was a deal breaker before they got married. They both agreed they absolutely didn't want children. But as Neil approaches his 35th birthday, almost against stereotype, he is the one who decides he absolutely, fundamentally must have children, and he can't see the purpose and the point to his life without them. Nat, however, continues on her line that we always agreed we didn't want children. I absolutely do not want children. How are we going to manage going forward in our marriage with this, as I say, deal breaker? The communication between the couple breaks down. Neil, in a rather Neanderthal way, starts visiting strip joints for a bit of extra company there, and Nat, probably in a more sort of female way, revisits her little black book, her old address book, that has all the details of her ex-boyfriends, that the guys she went out with or was even interested in before she settled down with Neil. She has a sort of romantic notion that one of these exes might have been the one and that she somehow overlooked him or missed him. So she goes down the line of ringing them all up individually and revisiting them and having a series of dates with her exes, which you can only imagine what kind of clash that might lead to. Matthew was a journalist. He'd written for an arts industry paper when Nat dated him, but since he'd written seriously as a critic on a broadsheet. Occasionally, Nat's father would point out an article with Matthew's byline and comment that it was very interesting. Of course, Matt was going to ask why she'd called him. He was infinitely brighter than Gary, and he had not flattered himself that the call was a precursor to a clandestine sexual liaison, or, if he had presumed this was the case, he was clearly had a need to have that pertinent discussion up front. I'm not sure exactly, admitted Nat. Are you dying? No. Good. And it's not your big 3-0, you will pass that. Right. You're wearing a ring, so you're not husband hunting. No. Are you after my sperm? Nat laughed, even though she was pretty sure Matthew wasn't joking. His direct line of questioning had taken a pickaxe to the icy small talk that normally would surround this occasion. You're laughing, but you can't imagine how many of my women friends have asked for me to make a little donation in that particular field, said Matthew, rolling his eyes dramatically. Really? Really, it's very London. Now, should I get us a drink? Then you can tell me what sort of internal crisis you're having exactly.